I'm not getting sound here on my end. Oh, maybe. We'll see. We may have to change it to my mic. Good times on starting a live stream. Every time I end up running through this, folks. Let's try that. All right, let's see if that does it. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think so. There you go. Let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear, guys. Kind of helps to know if you can hear me. If not, I got to figure out what's going on, and I would hate to have to start over. Sometimes these crazy lives do this to me, and I just have to make sure that they're working. So, do me a favor, let me know. I see there's at least somebody there. Let me know if you can hear me. Sometimes the mics get screwed up between one mic and the other, and I can't tell unless somebody tells me they can hear me. So let me know if you can hear me. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself and nobody knows what's going on. Just trying to figure out. This happens occasionally where, for some reason, my computer gets confused as to which mic I want to use. But I did tell it to use the webcam, and then it didn't work. So I got 4 of you there. Hey, guys, do me a favor. See in the chat, I'm looking to make sure that you can hear me. There does seem to be a little bit of an issue here with the mic. So I want to make sure you can actually hear me as I get going. Good to go, loud and clear. Okay, thank you. Without someone telling me that, I have no idea if you can hear me or not. And I was having some troubles with, and I've had this before where I set up this live in the YouTube software, and it wants to know what mic you want to use. And the computer wants to use one mic, and YouTube wants to use another one. And of course, as you can see, I've got my main voiceover mic that I use for my videos, and I usually just try to use the mic on the webcam for my lives. It gets a little confusing. Anyway, we had 4 pop in, and I don't see them right now, so we're going to give it a minute. It's early here, just after 5:30. I used to start early on these, so I'm kind of just trying a new thing, trying to come in just right around that 5:30 time frame. So, Michael, if you're still there, nice to see you. I have not seen your name before. So, where are you coming from? Tell me about yourself while we're waiting for everybody else. I see somebody else has joined. Always helps, folks, if you drop a quick chat down below. Let me know. I don't see it where you see it on if you're on your phones or on a computer, but you should see the chat. Just pop in, say hi, let me know who's here. Kind of helps me know who's here and where you're from. Always like to know that. Normally, the way I do these lives, if you haven't been on one before, is I do a quick channel update before I take questions. But if you've got questions about anything, pop them in the chat right away. That way, once I'm done my quick channel update, I'll start diving into questions. And basically, that's the way these work. You got questions, I answer them. Hey, there's John. Had to watch a commercial before I could hear you. Really? So, you mentioned this before, that they have changed the monetization on lives. And the way it was working before, I could pause those. And I'm going to do the pop out right now. So usually if a commercial's coming up, then I should be able to pause it. And that way, in fact, I'm going to click a delay right now, and that gives me 10 minutes. So I can delay them 10 minutes. And that way, as folks are joining, I don't want people joining and they get live, they get ads right away. That's kind of crazy. Now, one thing that I've been thinking about doing while we're waiting for folks to join is, these lives, I'll be honest with you guys, it's always a toss-up whether you decide to monetize the lives or not. If you don't, then you're doing them for free, which is cool and all, but YouTube does take a lot of work. And if anybody like John out there knows, when you do YouTube, you get your $2 or $3 a day, or maybe if you're doing really good, 5 or 6. And so we always tend to leave monetization on, figuring, well, if I can make a couple bucks, I will, right? Can you blame me? A cup of coffee today is getting up there. So anyway, what I usually do is I throw a pause out. And what I've been thinking of doing is anytime somebody does a super sticker or a super chat, I'm going to hit that pause button. And I'll just keep hitting the pause button all night long if need be. Other than if we all need to go get a drink or something, then I could throw an ad out. We all go get a drink, come back, and keep going. So, but Michael, I see you threw out a message and then you retracted it. Don't do that, buddy. Don't be shy. Let him go. It's okay. You can tell me if you're like, you know what, the hell with that. I don't want those. Hey, throw it out there. I like honesty. So, or if you just thought you mistyped something, don't worry about it. Throw it out there. I'm good. But again, like to know where everybody's from. Usually try to let a few people join first before I get going. But I think I got quite a bit today on channel updates for you. New Brunswick. Awesome. That is a long ways away, buddy. It's late out there. Gosh, it's well, you're at least 8:30, 8:35 out there right now, I'm guessing. So thanks for joining. I don't think I've seen you before on here, so welcome. Glad to see you. That's one of the interesting thing about these lives is there are certain names that guys that always join, or guys that always comment on videos, so you kind of get to know them a little bit. But anyway, so anyway, it's good. 9:30. Oh wow, so you're 4 hours. Holy smokes. Now, do you have a sawmill? Tell me about yourself while we're waiting. Let me know what's going on. And John, did you pop out or are you still there? Sometimes I see the number count of the viewers go up and down, but viewers are actually still here. So I'm curious to see whether or not you're still here. But yeah, Michael, tell me about yourself. You got a sawmill? How long you been watching the channel? Since you're a new viewer on my lives, I'd love to hear that. Oh, cool. Yeah, I see the count go sometimes all the way down to 1, and then there's still guys chatting. So I know that's a thing that YouTube really needs to fix, because it's supposed to tell you how many people you have there, right? And then half the time it's not right. So, but a Timbery 120 band mill. Okay, cool. I'm guessing the Timbery 120 is a smaller mill. I know there's a lot of different ones out there. Wallace Everett. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you. A new name for me, too. I love seeing new names when you guys pop in. So let me know where you're from. And if you got a mill, don't be shy. Tell me about it. And again, usually what I do is once I get a few people on, I start doing my channel updates. But if you've got questions, throw them out there right away, because I will answer any question anybody's got. So, all right, what time are we at here? We're getting there. And I was hoping to see you in the Arrowhead. I got 6 out there now. Who else is on here? There's a few guys in Midwest and back east that usually join. I was giving Rick France from Two Brothers Outdoors a hard time earlier. He doesn't know it yet, obviously. Threw out a poke at Jason Hamlow. Thought of hitting Davidson's All Natural Gym up with a poke too. Even throw one out to Mike from Wilson Forest Lands just to have fun. In case you don't know this, a lot of us actually talk to each other on a fairly regular basis. Kind of fun, actually. Behind the scenes stuff. Small mill, but mill every day. Oh, that's awesome. I started out with a chainsaw mill, but then I moved to a Woodmiser LT10. So maybe similar in size. The LT10 originally had a 7-horse motor, I think 14 feet of track. And then I extended it, put it on a trailer, put a 10-horse motor, and went to 21 feet of track. And I could mill, 24-inch logs, just slow, right? Well, even with the 10-horse motor, you'd be lucky to get 150 board feet an hour. It's not like my LT40. So, all right, here we go. Well, we got 6 of you, so I'm going to jump into my quick channel update for everybody. But again, if you got questions, drop them in the chat for me so that I know they're out there. And anything's on the table, folks. There's nothing off the table. So you want to know about why I'm packing a 45 when I'm running my sawmill? You know what? I've seen some questions on some of my videos about that. Or, why I like that, or what I'm doing gold panning while I'm running a sawmill channel, or how the cabin's doing, or my back, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever you've got. You want to know what cameras I run? I don't care. I answer any questions you have. So if you've got questions, I'm going to answer them. I like to help people. That's just what I like to do. So first of all, I will tell you that YouTube changed monetization. So if you're in here earlier, I'm just going to repeat that little blurb that I threw out there when John from Davidson All Natural Gym joined. YouTube changed lives, and they made them so that ads run during the live. Now they give you the option to pause those ads. Excuse me. So in fact, I hit pause about 7 minutes ago. And what I've decided to do is, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, if you have ads, you'll make a couple bucks for doing a live. Doesn't really matter. It's not like it's going to be the end of the world. But I thought, you know what? A lot of times guys will throw out a super chat or super sticker or something like that. I thought, you know what? Every time someone does it, I'm going to hit pause. And if I hit pause all night long, I hit pause all night long. Good to go. And then usually what I do is I try to keep it paused in case, if everybody wants to go grab a beer or something, then I'll let it go, let it run the ad, and we'll go get a drink. So, all right. It's telling me I got 3 minutes, so I better hurry up. But channel update. So first of all, if you're a Wood Miser owner, Wood Miser is dropping their Resharp program. Lots of stuff out there on the net. I have close to 100 bands, and I was a long-time Resharp customer. I would send off 15 bands at a time. So I'd have 15 ready to go, 15 out there, 15 coming back, and a bunch in stock, so that when I was production milling, it was just kind of this regular loop that was going on. Now, it's kind of not too bad for me today, like it would have been if I was still production milling. But the truth is, I'm not production milling right now. I'm trying to do more milling up at the cabin for myself. And so it's not as much of an issue. I'm not running through 15 bands in a weekend. So, it's a little different. But I do have a buddy. You may have seen him if you've seen all my videos. Kevin Bales Enterprises. He came down here and did some milling for me when my back was out and the mill wasn't running and whatever. And Kevin actually does his own bands, and he's said that he'd probably do mine for me. So I will probably take him up on that. I'm trying to stop the ads there. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. Let me try one more time. There we go. 10 minutes. Sorry about that. It's kind of tough with this new setup they've done. But anyway, so Kevin's probably going to be doing my bands. We haven't talked about pricing yet, but frankly, I'm not using it as much as I was. So if it's going to cost me, 10 or 15 bucks a band or something, it might be worth it for me to do it that way. Kevin also has a seat for me. So we've been talking back and forth. He's actually coming to town to do some milling for me in November, and I will film that. In that case, my mill's running fine. I'm able to do the work. Why am I not doing it? Well, in this case, the customer actually has some black forest. I think it's oak, very rare, and he wants it slabbed as wide as he can. Kevin has a wide head, and I don't. So, and this is something I always try to tell people: you keep your customers happy, they're going to keep you happy. Well, I just told the guy, I said, I'll be honest with you, the widest I can slab that is about 27.5 inches. I can maybe push it a little bit more, but not much. And even then, that's tough and it takes a while. But I got a buddy who can slab 6 inches wider than I can. So if you want, I'll have Kevin come do the job instead. When I do that, I pull myself right out of the equation. It's between Kevin and the customer and no longer me. And the only thing I do, folks, is I make sure that I get to film it. And it works. It's a win-win situation. So Kevin's going to come down, and if he remembers, he's going to bring a seat for me to put on my sawmill. And I've really gone back and forth as to whether I want to put a seat on it or not. The guy that's taught me so much from afar, Lynn, Magic Man over at Forestry Forum, he rides a seat. He's been doing it for 2 million board feet, so maybe more. He's got it down. And I thought with my back the way it is, might not be a bad idea. So I think I'm going to try that out. So you may get to see what that's like pretty soon. So, but anyway, from a channel perspective, am I still milling? Of course, I got lots of milling to do. I did maintenance today. I did some laser adjustments today. And I will tell you that fine tuning that laser on the mill has been a little bit of a challenge. The way that Apenex laser works, and it's a great laser for the money. I don't think you can beat it. $140 or something, right? But and you got to pay $50 for the mount, and then you got to pay for the Woodmiser mount. But still, by the time you're into it, I think I figured about $300 versus 1,200 or something like that for the Woodmiser. The only challenge is that it has one very small Allen head set screw, and when you loosen that up, it gets wiggly and moves around, and you got to try to get that laser level, and then you got to try to adjust it this way with a couple other small screws. So a little bit of a challenge, but I have been finding the closer I get it to right on, the more I like having it. So when I first put it on, I was a little frustrated. Bright sun, I couldn't see it. Today, I've actually used it quite a bit, even with the laser not perfectly smack on. It's been awesome to have. So, hey, buddy, Arrowhead Woodsman, nice to see you. Glad you could join. Cardboard Moose's Arcade. Can you shout out my son, Poe? He loves your video. Is it Poe? Absolutely. I'll shout out Poe. Hey, how you doing? Where are you from? Tell me about yourself. All questions are open. So if your son wants to know something about the old Jarhead, all you got to do is ask, and I will absolutely answer it for him 10 times over. So don't worry. We'll have some one-on-one. What else we got here? I like your D-Log videos. Awesome, buddy. Hey, I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's been a little bit of, I think they're getting better. I'm trying. I'm working hard. So, but anyway, quick get back to my channel updates. Okay. So, and I wrote some stuff down here so that I wouldn't forget. So we talked about bands. I will tell you that I broke my tractor on the last trip up to the cabin. I fell a bunch of saplings, fell a couple bigger trees, fell a nice big fir, and got that bucked up. But the joystick on my tractor, it's got like an anchor bolt kind of position that's a cast metal, and it broke in half. Suddenly, I can't use my grapple anymore. So the shop up there has the part. I'm going up next week, so I'll pick that part up, hopefully get the tractor fixed, and get back in action with the tractor. I'll be dragging the sawmill up there, and I could drag the logs through the dirt, no problem. It's just I would prefer to just pick them up with the grapple and take them right to the sawmill instead. So we'll see. But anyway, let's see what else we got. So I do have coming up now. I will tell you, I just finished the D-Log videos from all the D-Logs we were making. And one of the things I said in my last video was I needed about 120. That's actually for 2 structures. So I need about 64 per structure. One of them is an addition on the cabin. It's a 12 by 18 addition with an 8 by 10, call it dinette bump out. So a little bit of an L-shaped addition on the cabin, and it'll be on the right side of the cabin. So if you've seen, especially in the latest videos, you could see where there's that ugly old shed that's rat infested that I need to burn to the ground. Maybe this winter that'll get disappeared, but that comes out of there. And then on that side of the cabin, I'll be building that D-Log addition, and it'll take about 64 logs. So we're almost halfway now. We're getting there. I think I got up to about 3.5 feet. So that's happening. Those videos, I've completed all the videos from that trip. We spent about 9 or 10 days up there. Excuse me. And then we went back, and I did a bunch of falling, totally butchered a Humboldt notch. I've never used the Humboldt, and so I started trying to use it lately. And watching guys like Buck and Billy Ray or Mike Wilson over at Wilson Forest Lands, those guys are fallers. They make it look easy. Like from an old jarhead like me that just had to learn on his own. I didn't quite get it right. And I fell the tree exactly where I wanted to, and I've been pretty good at falling trees where I wanted them. But I'll probably show you that in the video. I really butchered that Humboldt up. I fell the tree right where it wanted to go, but it wasn't exactly a pretty notch like you see some of these other guys do. So that'll be fun. And then we actually did a bunch of work to the Taj McPrivy. That's what we're calling it. So if you saw the outhouse cleaning up video, that outhouse has been there for 10 years and it's hardly ever used. But now we've got some friends that are coming up and doing some camping up there with us, and I decided to get that fixed up. and we've actually done a bunch more work to it. We put some 30-pound felt on the roof. We put 15-pound felt on the walls. We've actually sided part of it. So I'll be bringing you some of that. And then 6-inch D-logs, yes. Then there, by the way, those D-logs are 6 inches deep. And then I shoot for a 6-inch top and bottom face. So you'll hear me say that I cut those at 7.5 inches. That's to allow for the crown. And that tends to give me that 6-inch face, just FYI on those. But okay, so back to video channel updates. So anyway, that Labor Day, well, it wasn't Labor Day, it was after Labor Day weekend. We did a bunch of following. We did the Taj McPrivy, and that's what we're calling it now. It's not the Taj Mahal, but it's the Taj McPrivy. But and then I finally went and milled for an old friend of the family. He's well into his 80s, wood carver, did a bunch of work. He's been a friend of my mother-in-law's for a very, very long time. And I met him probably 20 years ago. And he had about a half a dozen trees come down in a windstorm in the spring. And you may have seen a little short come out where I was dragging logs with my Jeep. And anyway, so we went out, that job, we just did that for Joe. He's kind of like Uncle Joe to my wife. And I think that's going to be really fun because I'll show you, he built a Viking longboat 20 some odd years ago, does a whole lot of carving, all kinds of cool stuff. So I think you'll enjoy that. Super nice guy. He was so thrilled to have us come out. I had the grandsons out there, was showing one of my grandsons how to run the mill. Oh, dang it. I just had an ad. Let's see. Delay ads. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Have been delayed for an additional 10 minutes. There we go. Hey, Joe. Nice to see you, buddy. So anyway, and again, on these ads, guys, I hope you're not seeing them. I'm trying to delay them. And I've decided that, I'll hit delay, especially if anybody throws out a super sticker or something, then I'm absolutely going to keep hitting delay. But, and if we need to go get a beer or drink or something, I'll let them go and we'll do that. But anyway, so Uncle Joe, you're going to see that. And I'm working on that one. I'm hoping to get that out next week. And I think I'm going to do that a little different. I think I'm going to do that where I give you the whole week, the whole day, in one video. And then I'll probably break it up and talk about some of because I did some interesting things in there. Definitely I ran into some pine logs that had massive knots. They had not just big knots, but sometimes 3 knots going right across the face. I'm talking tough stuff to cut flat. We got her flat. And actually at one point I pulled the covers off and checked my drive belt tension. It was like that, brand new band starts diving, and opened it up, checked my drive belt tension. It was actually fine, but I filmed that. So hopefully I can show that for those that have been asking me to do that. But we got them flat, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Some tricks I learned from other guys. So we'll bring that to you. Hey, there he is. Rick and Tim. Nice to see you guys. Did you see my little poke? I poked at you there on Facebook. But okay, let me try to get these channel updates done. Okay, so tractor's broken. I talked about that. The cabin, we talked about it. Sawmill stuff, I think I've talked about that. You will see a new affiliate thing come out here pretty soon. I will do a couple reviews. And if you're curious about these affiliate programs on the channel, they help pay some bills. But I only do them for things that I believe in. So like the EMP shield, I don't know if you guys saw that guy that had that LT70 that got blown up by lightning. Well, EMP shield will actually protect your sawmill from lightning. If it fails, EMP shield guarantees it to $25,000. So like that guy's got to rebuild his electronics. Guess what? EMP shield would have paid for it if their system failed. So, and they're a big company, very well known, very reputable, sell to the military. They're no BS. So when you see me do those, there's a new one I'm working on now. It's a lighting one for those that do the off-grid stuff. I might actually attach it to my sawmill for fun to see how that works. But it's some solar lights that I think are going to be really good. An American company, as well as same with the EMP shield. So you might see those come out. All right, moving on. Member videos. I don't know if you've noticed, YouTube's doing something different with member videos. So if you've ever thought about being a member, I think the bottom level is like $2.99 a month. It's like buying me a cup of coffee a month. But what I do with those, hey, W2, nice to see you. I'll get to that. That's a great post. So thank you. But so for member videos, one of the things that I do is when I put a video together and I think it's ready, I put it out there for all the members. That way, and I put them out with no ads, totally ad free. So you can get to see them. They tend to be extended versions. A lot of times I'll put them out, then I'll watch them myself, I'll edit them, and then I will go back and redo it and put it back out. Now, if I can get it done on time, it'll go back out to members only first, and then on the day it'll go out to everyone with ads. So if you've ever thought about that, that's one of the benefits of doing that. And I've also decided that, you know, I do some other things that don't really play always with the channel. Not everybody wants to see me shooting with somebody. So I don't usually show those except for maybe a little bit on the end of a channel or end of a video, or maybe right at the beginning of a video. So I've decided that what I'm going to do, and thanks to John Davis from Davidson's All Natural Gym, you gave me this idea, buddy. But what I was thinking of doing is I would probably take those and just make them members only videos. So it's kind of like member insiders. You know, you buy me a cup of coffee, you get to see a whole bunch of stuff. And I do posts and other things. And I'm also looking at some other options, i.e. like you want to give me a call and chat, members, I'm going to open that up for you. I've actually had some of you subscribers have called me and talked to me. I usually will answer if I can, I'm going to, and I'll talk to you. But with over 10,000 subscribers, I've been thinking that I probably will make that a members thing just to keep that from getting 10,000 phone calls. So, all right, gonna get these channel updates done so I can hit what's in the chat session for you. Let's see. But today was a maintenance day. I think I mentioned that earlier. Videos. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I put out 4 videos a week for 3 weeks in a row. I was doing an experiment because one of the things about YouTube is that it really it works well to niche down a channel. Meaning, if you put out sawmill videos, then if you only put sawmill videos out, the old YouTube algorithm loves you and it will share those and people get to see them. If you put something different out, then a lot of times it just doesn't want to show it because it doesn't think your audience wants to see it. So I was playing with off-cycle videos, meaning a Friday drop. If you like that, do me a favor, make a comment in the chat. Let me know that you like to see those. I can't always do it because, to be honest with you, doing 3 videos a week is a challenge. Every video can take up to an hour of editing for every minute of the video. So if you see a 24-minute video, yes, folks, that could have taken me 24 hours to edit. So when you see those, if you kind of wonder about that. My goal right now is to keep putting 3 out a week, but I have dropped a 4th out occasionally. If you like those, especially those off-cycle ones that are different, that aren't sawmilling, let me know in the chat. Drop comments in on them. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to keep doing those whenever I can. And, you know, it's kind of like my Jeep channel. If you've ever known, if you haven't seen it, I do have a Jeep channel. It's kind of my fun channel that I just throw stuff out on. Not that this isn't my fun channel, but I'll be honest, I'm serious about the sawmilling stuff. A lot more than I'm not changing to just run my Jeep channel, right? It's all about sawmilling and the off-grid cabin build. But, and again, for YouTube, I don't put those on this channel anymore just because YouTube just doesn't like it. So as much as a lot of my subscribers did, YouTube just didn't share those videos. And I'll be honest with you, if YouTube's not going to share them, it makes it kind of tough. So I throw them over on the other channel. Then it doesn't matter what they do, and I'll just keep putting the sawmill stuff here. So, all right, trying to get the rest of this done here. Talked about the Taj McPrivy from Northwest Sawyer. Jason I've met in his channel. And you guys have been pushing Mike over at Wilson Forest Lands. Keep pushing him. He doesn't live that far from me. I really think you guys should make him come out to my place to teach me how to properly do a Humboldt notch. And when you see what I butchered the other day, you're going to want him to come up. So give him a hard time. Tell him he needs to go up to the Old Jarhead's place and fall some trees. Okay. I think I got everything I had on my list, more or less. The only other thing I had on there was bands that I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, but I want to talk about those one more time because one, I saw a comment by W. And I see Joe Main here. And guys, if you don't know, if I need bands, I go to Joe Main now. Now I haven't been buying them lately, so sorry, Joe, but because I went from production milling to not as much production milling anymore, partly because my back is not very good. And partly because I'm trying to focus on getting my own milling done, because when I'm milling for everyone else, I'm not getting my own milling done. But if I need a bands, I'm going to go to Joe Main. And I'm not just telling you guys that because Joe's a nice guy, and he is a nice guy. But Joe's been providing bands for some of the best sawyers I know for a very long time. And I'm talking to like guys like Jake Dean over at Custom Sawyer. And Jake, I'm sorry, I keep throwing your name out there, but you probably milled more than anybody I know. So if you need bands, I really highly recommend you talk to Joe. Not only does he do, dang it, these ads are driving me nuts, folks. And if you guys are seeing ads, let me know. I keep putting the pause on them because I don't like being interrupted. So if you see them, drop a line. But anyway, so if you're thinking about doing your own bands, setting them and sharpening them, Joe is a Wood-Mizer dealer. So you can get the what is it, the BM25? I can't remember. I don't have one. I don't sharpen my own bands, as I mentioned earlier. I'm thinking about it though, Joe. But you can get that equipment from Joe as well. So bands, equipment, his shipping is, I believe, still free to the 48 continental states. But I don't know about Alaska and Hawaii, but I know the rest of the states it's free. Good prices, good bands, both Wood-Mizer as well as they have their own too. So something to check out. And then I see W, if anyone needs a blade sharpener, go to Hudson's Sawmill website, and they have a basic manual sharpener that uses a chainsaw grinder. I built one similar to it. Would be better than the my screen is funny here. It's got a silly heart in the way. Here, let me try to. There, I hit a heart. Didn't do anything. It didn't get out. I can't read that whole message because the stupid thing's in my way. But it basically, yes. And I know Rick and Tim, I think they've got a Hudson sharpener as well, don't you? I think that's what they use. So that's an option too. But Joe, he can get you the manual sharpeners from on the Wood-Mizer side as well. So I would talk to Joe, honestly, but Hudson's an option too. Okay. Now, D-log videos. So Arrowhead Woodsman, you know what? Nice to see you, buddy. It's been a long time, and I'm looking over. If you guys wondering why I look over this way a lot, it's because that's where my chat is. So I got to go over there and read what you guys are throwing out there. So, hey, Joe, there you go. He's probably talking to Arrowhead right now. I hope I answered your questions on the D-logs. I was going to talk about those a little bit, because Rick mentioned something that he did. And I'll be honest with you, Rick, I'm trying to reduce my work. So there's some guys up in Alaska that I watched build a D-log cabin that they've been pretty happy with. And I've seen others do it the way that I'm thinking of doing it, which is just laying that pink base plate insulation in each layer. I don't know, that might be a little spendy, but I've also seen another way done that I've considered, which is using a type of glue like liquid nails. And I've got to look at what type they were using. And what they were doing is just 2 beads down the flat side of the bottom log, and then drop the next log right on top. So depending on price wise, both of those options I think would work. And then I'm using log screws. Timber locks, I think they call them. And you can get timber locks in, 4, 6, 12, 18, 24-inch lengths. And I will probably use 12 and 18-inch lengths and stagger them. With a 12-inch, you're going to hit all the way through the D-log below you, and with 6-inch D-logs. So should be fine. Now, I will tell you, when I first started milling D-logs a couple years ago, it was the first time I started doing D-logs, and it was a bit of a challenge at first. I thought, I'll just throw this zip it across the top, give myself a 6-inch open face, roll at 90, knock the bottom off, roll at 90, knock the top off, and I'll call it good. And I think the first ones I made were like 5 inches. And I was like, wait, that didn't work. So I had to go back and I did a couple videos on it, because I realized I had to go back and kind of look at it a little differently. And I got it to where I was doing them at 5.5, and I thought, no, I want 6. And so I started doing them at 6. I think I'm going to end up at 5.5 inches in the end. And the reason is, and I think I pointed this out in one of my D-log videos, Sometimes when you get a free of heart center log, it twists. Sometimes when you get a boxed heart, it twists. I've had boxed heart D logs with the heart dead center in the D log, and it twisted. I've had free of heart center that are clearly out of the heartwood twist. Sometimes they just do. So, and I've also had them not, right? Most of them don't, but occasionally they do. And I found that when that happened, all I got to do is square them back up to 5.5 inches and say to heck with it. So I'll probably end up doing that and going with 5.5s, but milling them all 6 inches over, letting them dry, and then knocking them back down real quick on the mill before I start nailing them up. Now, I will tell you this, a lot of the guys I've seen doing D-logs do it green. And if they're doing them green, that seems to work better because then they're screwing them all together. It's a lot harder for them to move. Maybe that would work better. I don't know. But I'm not doing that, partly because I still got to get the foundation built. I've got to mill everything for the floor. I got to mill everything for the roof. The one thing about milling everything for yourself and not doing it full time, especially when you're milling for everybody else, is you don't get a chance to do it for yourself, and it takes longer. So we'll definitely get there, folks. Where did my pop-up screen go? Dang it. I lost my... There it is. Okay. Making sure we don't have a commercial thrown in our way. What degree blade was I using? 4. I was actually using 4s. And 4s, I normally have the best luck with wide cuts. I have great luck with hard knots. The problem with hard knots in like a ponderosa pine, especially knots that are, 4 inches or something across, is they're so hard that if you don't slow down, your band is going to either dive or roll over them. And so you get the wave up over the knot like that, and when it gets into the softer wood, then they settle at the right, so essentially, even with a 3,000 pound or even 3,200 pounds on the band with a drive belt at 15.5 pounds, and it's supposed to be 14, I've had them occasionally ride up like that. And so if you back off on your speed, then it's got a little more time to get a bite and run through it. But I will tell you what I did. It's actually something that Jake Dean said to do, and I found he was absolutely right. I shut the lube off. Completely shut it down, no lube. And what I found works best is no lube through the cut, and then flat out lube after the cut or before the next cut, just to clean the band off, and then shut her off and go again. And what it does is it keeps the sawdust dry. And so the sawdust, it's easier to move the sawdust through the log, doesn't get gumming up inside of the gullets, which will cause it to rise and fall as well. And so essentially all you're doing is you're making sure that everything is perfect in the world, and then you can cut them flat. And I was having trouble. Well, I'll tell you what, I had one of the logs I was into had 3 knots that were all about 2.5, 3 inches. And it was like 1, 2, 3. And it was like, what is going on? We got it flattened out. And with the 4-degree bands, they worked great. In fact, I don't use 10s hardly ever anymore. I use 7s and 4s mostly. I like 7s for softwoods. That's my preference. But I do like 4s for wide cuts. They seem to cut flatter. So anyway, folks, what questions do you have? And did Poe catch that shout out there? Cardboard Mouses Arcade. You got to tell me what's your name and where you guys are from, and how old is Poe? I got another commercial trying to enter here, so be sure to let me know. I'll see if I can't put a pause on it. There we go. And again, if you guys are seeing commercials, let me know. I'm hitting that pause button for you. But the YouTube software, it's kind of silly sometimes. So tell me about Poe, age, location, everything else. Tell me about yourself. Where are you guys at? Interesting title to your YouTube, Cardboard Mouses Arcade. I'm curious. What is that all about? Arrowhead Woodsman, what are you up to, buddy? It's been a while. And Rick, I'm sorry I missed your live the yesterday, I think it was. We were running a rally out here with the 4x4 club, so we just couldn't make it. But talk to me, guys. Let's have some questions. If not, I'm going to start telling stories, and you know how that goes if I start telling stories. We'll be here for hours. Speaking of stories, you know, I've often debated and just working every day. I hear you, buddy. Well, okay, I'm not going to lie. I am working every day. I'm working on YouTube every day, though, so it's a little different. But I had an interesting exchange with a Canuck today. Nice guy, super nice guy. So if you're watching, it was fun. On my 45 that I carry, and I often think about that. You know, in this crazy world that we live in today, you know, I often wonder what people think. Here I am making YouTube videos, and I'm telling you what, I'm making what I do. I'm not changing what I do to make YouTube videos, folks. My videos are what I do. This is real. I don't make crap up, right? When I fell in that video, if you didn't see it, by the way, I only got 9 out of 10. So y'all that haven't, you know, scored that fall, I was disappointed. I even put on there that you guys should be scoring. I was expecting some 10 out of 10s there. I mean, I didn't do a complete roll, but come on. Seriously. I even showed it to you like 4 times. So if you haven't seen it, you're going to have to watch that video. but oh, you gave me an 8. So I will tell you this. Sometimes if you do that and there's a certain way you do it, it ends up being a smiley face. And so you can't be sure if it's an 8 or if it's just smiley faces. But I have seen that. And I think yours was one that was a bunch of smiley faces. So unless I somehow missed that you gave me the 8. So if you did, but still, come on, 8. Come on. That's an 8 and a 9. I'm at 8.5 now. I don't think Rick's graded it yet, or John. I mean, come on, guys. But anyway, so I'm talking with this guy, and his first thing was it was not very graceful at all. Hey, I got right back up, buddy. Come on now. No, it was not graceful. I don't know if you could see what happened there. Well, I'll tell you. But you know, the whole 45 thing, I'll tell you that it is true. In fact, here's a funny thing. The next trip we were up at the cabin, we were walking up to head up to fall some trees, and my wife goes, "Hey, what's this footprint?" And I'm like, "Where?" She's like, "Right here is a footprint." I don't know, what is it, a cat or what is it? And so I walked back and I looked down, and it was a good sized black bear, forepaw. And I mean, it was a good sized print, you know, well, at least as big as my hand. Or close to it. And you know, bears, I'll tell you the truth. Usually you just scare them off, you just yell at them and they run away. But there's always that chance that they're not going to. Now, I'll be honest, I don't carry a 45 ACP for bears. It's not the best choice for bears, honestly. It really isn't. It's better for 2-legged, you know, critters than 4-legged ones. But for cougars, coyotes, you know, wolves, 2-legged types, it's perfect. And it ain't bad for like a 250-pound bear. It's going to be fine. But as I said to him, I got a 454 Cazul sitting up above the door. If I can get to that, I'm good. And the wife was carrying a 357. Now, why do we do that? Well, I've actually been followed around by a cougar out there an entire day. And it was quite the experience. Now, the underneath of the cabin, if you notice, I still haven't put any kind of skirting under there. I got to finish the foundation so I can get that skirting done. I've often contemplated putting that skirting in, but I'm not sure that cat wasn't under the cabin at different times when I was inside of it. Now, picture that. Now, we have cats out here that can get over 200 pounds. In fact, I have a friend that got charged by one when he was hunting. He ended up killing it. It was 230 pounds when he hung it. So we've got some big cats out here. And that particular day, I was going out and turning the solar panel on my well pump, which is about 100. Well, it's actually about, I was going to say 100 feet, but it's about 150 feet away, and maybe even a little further. And so I would go out and head out to the solar panel, and I noticed that there were some tracks. So I looked at them. Turns out they were cat tracks. Well, every time I went outside, there'd be a new set of tracks, and they would always follow everywhere I went. And so there was this big cloverleaf pattern of cougar tracks all the way around the cabin in the snow all day long. And, you know, I think it was probably just curious, but I grew up in British Columbia, and a lot of it up north, as well as Vancouver Island, where there's a lot of cats and a lot of bears. And the rule of thumb is a wounded animal or a starving animal is the most dangerous animal, other than a sow with with cubs that you just interrupted, right? Mama with cubs, you got a problem, or mama with kittens. But otherwise, it's the wounded ones that you usually got to worry about more, or the starving ones, the sick ones. Those are the ones you got to worry about. You're not scaring those off. If they get a chance, they're coming in for a meal. And those are the ones you got to worry about. But the truth is, like bears, I've usually chased them off. I literally had one come charging up the hill at me. Oh gosh, I can't remember now if it was this spring, or I think it was this spring. And I had gone outside. And the funny thing is, I didn't have a camera on me. I wish I had, because if I'd have had a camera, that would have been a video that would have blown up, let me tell you. I was just getting ready to go. I wanted to have a shower. I needed to adjust my little hot water heater because it wasn't working quite right. And I'd already taken my pistol off. I take my shirt off. I know, scary thought. And I was walking out there to go open up the back room behind the cabin. And I just caught movement, and I turned around and looked, and there's about a 250-pound black bear running up the hill towards me. So I just yelled at him. I can be pretty loud. So I gave him a good old Marine Corps yell and yelled at him, told him to get away type thing. And he did. He turned and ran. But that's the reason I do that. And I've also had, let's say, folks that look like they partake in some of those substances they probably shouldn't, come out on occasion, probably looking for stuff that they can, sell. And whenever they come out and they see me walking around with that big old 45 strapped on my hip, let me tell you, they decide to go somewhere else. So you got to run. All right, buddy. Hey, good to see you. Let's see. I was a 2. Oh, come on. Kind of like a pet. We're starting to get them here too. Yeah, you know. So do I have portable jobs lined up for the spring yet? I do not. And I will tell you, I may not line up any portable jobs next year. So I've been trying not to do portable jobs this year. You may have noticed that. If you follow my channel very long, you're used to seeing me go mill all over the place. That's how it, that one playlist is called the Sawdust Roadshow. I've done thousands upon thousands and thousands of miles of driving around and running my sawmill in different locations, in different environments. My sawmill doesn't live under a roof. I'd like it to, but it doesn't. And but the problem is I don't mill for myself. And the reason why I haven't gotten this addition done on the cabin is because I only had 2 feet of walls milled up, if that. And that's in 2 years. And so, it gets to a point where you gotta say, okay, I gotta stop. The other problem I have is, and I've probably mentioned this before. I'm gonna hit this pause again for you guys here. Sorry. Let's see if we can. Here we go. Another delay. Where are we at? 48 minutes, and I've been hitting delay the whole time. But I'm still working on the back. So, I've got 3 issues. They're not all resolved. So it's a bit of a challenge. And so I kind of hate the idea of going out and taking a portable job, knowing that I may not be able to walk that fast, that hard all day long. And when I'm milling on a portable job, I'm my worst enemy, because I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can. But with my back the way it is, I tend to walk slower, not as stable. So I don't know if you noticed in my videos, I cut a lot out, but you may notice that my gait's a little bit off. Especially if you've watched the old videos and then you see the new ones. Sometimes it gets a little tough. In fact, that fall I thought was going to set me back a little bit. It didn't. I managed to roll just right. So, but a commercial. How did you get a commercial when I hit? Well, I wonder if what happens is, if you got a commercial, I think probably what happens is when I go and it's down to the last minute, if I hit the button to stop it, to reset that pause, it probably throws a commercial out. So it's trying to throw a commercial out, as periodically throughout this live stream, and I'm trying to stop it. So I'm doing my best, guys. All right. So again, I don't know if you're still there. What was his name again? Cardboard Mouse's Arcade. You were looking for a shout out for your son Poe, and I would love to say hi to him and talk to him a little bit. So if you're still watching, tell me a little bit about Poe, how old he is, what's his favorite video, you name it. I'm happy to talk to him. I would love to do that. So, but now we've got some time here. So heck, I've gone long, folks. I'll go 2 hours if you got enough questions for me. But so questions. What questions do you have, if any? If you don't, say I don't have any questions, I just want to see you babble. Well, then that's fine. We can do that too. I will tell you this. I've got the Streamlabs software. I haven't paid for it. I don't intend to do that because my channel's it's in that stage. So if you're interested in the YouTube kind of stuff, at 10,000 plus subscribers today is different than a year ago. And today that's a mix of short form and long form subscribers. I will tell you that the probably 80% of my subscribers are short form subscribers. So what that means is less of them are watching my long form videos. And I actually used to, I'm getting pretty good views today, but the truth of the matter is it's not that many yet. I appreciate every view I get, by the way, but when you're getting, say, 900 views for a new video that goes out, that's good. But in order to do something like the Streamlabs software where you can put like 5 or 6 names up, I think it costs, I don't know, there might even be a monthly charge. Rick could tell you because I think they have it. But I've decided not to do that. One, because I'm no longer working. So YouTube's my source of income. So if you guys, if you throw a super chat out or you get some merch or something, I get my $2. Hey, that helps, right? So because of that, I've decided from a decision standpoint, I'm not going to pay for that. But I do have the software, and I can have one other person, one other individual on there with me, so I can do like a interview style, or I could get John on. I was trying to get you on before, by the way, and we could just sit there and chat and answer your questions, or get Rick and Tim on and so on. And I will try to do that, and I'd certainly like to do it with Rick and Tim again, and Mike Wilson and I, I'd like to do it with him. I think it's fun. I think it's a great way to go. So hey, Dino, nice to see you, buddy. Nice to have you join me. How you doing? And I think we've talked before. I'm gonna say you've been on my chats before. You and I are about the same age, I think, if I remember. It's Georgia that's cluing me in. So welcome, and if you got questions, ask them. If not, any question counts. You want to know something, I'll answer it. And speaking of which, I mentioned earlier that I'm thinking of just putting the shooting videos and that kind of stuff on the member side. And again, membership's like $2.99 a month for the lower level. There's 2 levels, $2.99 and $4.99. So it's like a cup of coffee a month. But if you guys are interested in any of that kind of stuff, let me know. Put it in the chat. Tell me what you think. I will tell you that I was helping a friend of mine out who hasn't shot in a long, long time. And he had a 9mm that he wanted to sight in. He'd never shot it. And so I did actually film all of that shooting. You got to see just a little bit of it. Arrowhead commented on it in one of my videos. I was shooting a 6-gun, and I kind of showed some of that. The truth is, I love shooting my 6-gun more than anything. But I used to be a primary marksmanship instructor in the Marine Corps, so I used to teach people how to shoot, and I still can. And I did help my buddy and really get him in, dialed in on shooting. Then I had another friend of mine out at the cabin, and I don't know if I filmed that one or not. I'll find out when I get to it, but I think I did. And he was in the infantry. So, Army infantry guys, they can shoot just like Marines, we can all shoot. So if you're interested in those things, just know that I do plan on putting some of that together and throwing that on the membership only side. It has no commercials or anything in it. It's just straight video, but I do intend to try to put some of that on. So you're always interested in the member stuff. Well, you're a member, so that's good. But and anyway, but if you have questions about the shooting or what I shoot and what I like to shoot, whatever, ask away. Happy to answer it. I do shoot pretty much everything. I just love the cowboy stuff the most. I don't know if it's just because the way I grew up, I just loved it. But also, one of the guys that commented earlier about carrying a 45 in bear country, I kind of chuckle because when I was hunting, I don't do it anymore only because my thumbs are shot. So trying to skin an animal is tough. So my back's tough. I can't walk that much. My hands aren't working. Though occasionally I contemplate it, but and my favorite thing to do, frankly, is to hunt grouse. And you got to do a lot of hiking, and the old back ain't taking it anymore. But I do carry a 45 Colt that's a Ruger Vaquero, and that's the one you saw me shooting in that video, if you saw that one. And that's actually the early model Vaquero that was built on the 44 Magnum frame. And I reload. So I actually reloaded that. I've got some 360 grain hard cast bullets with 296 powder and CCI Magnum primers. 1,050 feet per second coming out of the barrel, about a little over 1,000 foot-pounds of pressure. That'll work in bear country, folks. Let me tell you, big bullets going fast. I think the live should be commercial free for members. Yeah, well, that's but it's been almost commercial free. So I keep hitting the pause button. Now I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it right now. So if you get a commercial, let me know. I'm going to hit it, and then I'm going to hit it again. Okay, so I just hit it twice. So if anybody saw a commercial right there, please let me know, because I'm trying to hit that pause button. I did say earlier, if anybody gets it does a super chat, which by the way is right down at the bottom. There's a little $sign. So I'm just telling you, if you hit those, I'll definitely hit pause. And they do help the channel out. So thank you for that. There's stickers, there's whatever, but I don't have questions. So you guys got to throw some questions out there for me. John's doing an awesome job. John with Davidson's All Natural Gym. If you haven't seen it, he's got his own channel. Another great guy. Rick was on. I saw him earlier. Two Brothers Outdoors. He's the one I called out. And I don't know, did anybody see that call out? And did anybody know why I did that call out? Because there's a very specific reason why I walked in front of the camera and I said, Rick at Two Brothers Outdoors, this one's for you, buddy. And then I continued. So I was curious if anybody would catch why I did that, what I was talking about in that one. So you got a commercial. Interesting. Okay. So as soon as I take that off pause, it's going to go to a commercial. So that's good to know. But all right. Questions. Throw them out there. What do you want to know? This is your opportunity. We're sitting at 58 minutes and I'm happy to go long, but I got to have something to talk about, folks. Although there was something, I was thinking about something earlier that I was going to tell you about, and I can't remember what it was. Has to use diesel on blade lube for the first time this year. It was 25 degrees. Well, when it's below freezing, I use windshield washer fluid. So I have used water, Pine Sol, and dish liquid for the entire time I've been running a sawmill. And I have seen diesel in action, and it does work. So I'm not knocking the diesel guys. Let me tell you, Kevin's mill, if you saw those videos where I had that LT40 wide model and my buddy running it, that's his mill. He uses diesel, and I did not smell the diesel, and his band stayed clean. So I'm not knocking diesel, folks. I don't run it, and I don't have a problem not running it. Now, I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook where guys are talking about gumming up bands. Something about southern yellow pine is really, really bad. But I know guys that have milled over 2 million board feet of southern yellow pine or southern woods and a lot of SIP that only use water, Pine Sol, and dish liquid. So what my first question is always, how long did you run the band? What degree are you running? Are you running 10-degree bands? I find 10-degree bands gum up more than my 7s and 4s do. I don't know why, but I find that they do. And how much Pine Sol and dish liquid are you using? Is everything else right? So are you running 3,000 pounds pressure on the band? Is your drive belt at least 14 pounds for an LT40? Those are the questions I want to know. But how long? I've seen guys talk about running 24 hours on 2 bands, and I'm thinking, what? No, 2 hours. 2 hours. If you're running more than 2, and I've done it, but if you're running more than 2, you already should have changed the band out. And I'll tell you, the way I always did it when I'm production sawing, It's simple. You guys probably all have jobs or you've had jobs. So you go to work, you start work at 8, you take a coffee break at 10. Well, that's how I run my sawmill. I start running my mill at 8 a.m. I've already got it all prepped and running and ready to go. And I start cutting that first log. It's loaded up. Boom, away we go at 8 a.m. And at 10 a.m. I stop and I do two things. One, I shut my cameras off and change the batteries out because I'm filming for you. And two, as soon as that coffee break's over, because that's my time, not my customer's time, I change my band out. Change the band out, make sure the water's topped up, and then away we go for 2 more hours and I take lunch. And so I just try to time my band changes as long as something else doesn't cause me to change a band in that time. But I try to time my band changes with breaks. I do charge for band changes. So when I say I'm going to take a break, I'll take a break. My cameras, I deal with that on my own time. If I'm getting a snack, drinking water, whatever, I do that on my own time. And then when the break's over, now I'm back working on my sawmill. If I'm going to change the band, I'm doing it then. And then away we go, because that's part of running a sawmill. So I'm just curious. I haven't done southern yellow pine, but you use pine saw. Yeah, usually. Yeah. Now in the winter though, if you haven't tried this, go out and get some some windshield washer fluid. That's what I use. And I usually would try to buy it, a lot of it. But I will tell you that diesel, it would be cheaper to run diesel. I know John does. Windshield washer fluid, you have to run it at are you saying at a stream? There's a stupid thing that YouTube has put in the way. They put this silly heart thing in the way, which makes it so I can't read the last word in your sentence. Thanks, YouTube. Let me make sure we don't have a commercial coming up. We don't. Stream. Yeah. So yeah, I run it the same way I run my Waterloo. I don't change anything. I just fill the 5-gallon jug up with windshield washer fluid. I put between half a cup and a cup of pine sol in it, and because I just basically dump it in. And then I took a long squirt of dish liquid, done. Throw it up on there, and I run it just like I would normally run it. And I usually try to dial it back, so I'm not actually putting that much on. The only time I crank it up and really pour it on is if I am getting pitch buildup. And then a lot of times what I will do, there's a couple things I do to deal with pitch buildup. One is I won't go and engage the log right away. I'll often open it wide up, spray the band while it's turning at full throttle, and then shut that back down, and away we go. When I come out the other side, I will shut down the speed dial, right? But I'll leave the band engaged and open up the water lube and clean it off, and then lift her up and come back. You don't see me do it very often because I don't have to do it very often, but that's one of the things you can do. I will also tell you that when you run it dry, you tend not to get any pitch buildup. So believe it or not, I had less pitch buildup running dry than I do running with the lube. And I can clean the band off between cuts if you need to. So like on a big, wide, knotty cut, you're running it dry to make sure everything stays flat. Just run the lube afterwards or before, and you should be fine. Yeah, it can be expensive. And that's why I was saying that the diesel in that case, I think it's going to be cheaper. You did a video. So if you guys don't know this, John did a video on his channel about the difference between the cost of water and the cost of diesel. And it's cheaper for him to run diesel than water. And his math seemed to work out pretty well. Well, I can tell you, you start running windshield washer fluid, it's going to be more expensive than running diesel. I know it sounds insane. I'm just not interested in running diesel. I ain't going to do it. Don't need to, never had to. It's not really that expensive. I mean, yes, if you do the math and you're spending $1.50 for a gallon or whatever it is of water lube and you're running through a lot of it, it can add up, right? Or $3 or whatever it is today. But when I was running it as a business, it's just part of running the business. When I'm running it for myself, I'm not milling enough to make a difference. It's kind of like chainsaw fuel. Do you run, Husky or Steel fuel, or do you buy some other fuel? Don't run True Fuel, by the way. If you're running True Fuel, I would recommend you stop. There's a great video out there by Chicanic, if you haven't seen it, where she tests True Fuel and a couple others, and the results with True Fuel were not very good. So just look for that video if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't run True Fuel. I used to. I don't anymore. I run Husky Fuel. And it's expensive, right? That's crazy expensive. But I also know I'm not going to have problems with my saws because of the fuel. Now, I could go mix my own. I have for years, never had any problem mixing my own fuel. But I'm not running a saw that much. So I've decided that it's a trade-off, right? I'm not running the saw that much, so I can go buy, a can of Husky Fuel. It lasts me long enough that it works for me. If the economy continues to go the direction it is, I might quit doing that. But hey, nice to have you back, buddy. There was something that I was mentioning that you had mentioned earlier, and now I can't remember what it was. What is the members thing? Oh, so I don't know if you've heard of YouTube channels that have like Patreon accounts. By the way, we're going to get a commercial in like 10 seconds. So I'm going to try to hit pause again. You're probably getting a commercial right now. Okay, I'm trying. And if you got a commercial, let me know. So what it is a lot of channels use Patreon. I'm not doing that. I'm using YouTube's same kind of thing. It's a membership. So the membership basically for about the price of a cup of coffee, I want to say the bottom level is $2.99. The next one's $4.99. So like $5 a month. It's not even, you can't even buy a Starbucks for that. But what it is once you become a member, you get to see stuff that nobody else sees. You will get videos that come out that when I do a video. So if I'm going to have a video done for Tuesday, if I get it done tomorrow morning, I will put it out for members, ad free, and then it'll go out for non-members Tuesday morning, and then usually Tuesday. I'm usually just about done with Thursday's video, and I'll put that one out either Tuesday or Wednesday morning, and the same with Saturday. I put them out early. Right now, only about 2 days early. I did have a mention. One of them only went out 7 hours early. Sometimes you're having trouble with uploads and things, and it's hard to get them out. But I generally try to get them out for members early. And then there's a lot of videos that I've turned off to the public for various reasons. I leave those for members. I make all member videos ad-free, so there's no ads. And then there's content that I will put out that I'm not going to put out to the general public. Like if I do a shooting video and it's just all shooting, I know it's not going to play well with the general public because they're looking for sawmill stuff. They're not looking for shooting. So I'm just going to put the shooting stuff out for members. So do members get to see the gnome in yoga pants? If you if you ask, it could be arranged. I don't think you want to see that though. Dino, there you are. I'm doing good, excited, and picking up my new LT50. Been waiting 2 years. Oh wow, that's awesome. So yeah, members do get some other things. The other thing is I've been thinking about doing some other things for members. As I mentioned earlier, phone calls. Actually, you can do member-only chats in the lives or member-only lives. I also post things. I might post like all my thumbnails I'm putting out just for members. So it's kind of more of a behind the scene. You get to see more. You get to be a little more involved in the channel type stuff. And I tend to throw stuff out for members. And I also tend to put out kind of extended stuff. So, for example, I might put out a video that's 20 minutes to the public, but when I first put it together, maybe it was 27 minutes. And then I've decided for various reasons, I'm going to cut down some of that content, make it, because really, 16 to 24 minutes is about a sweet spot for videos you put out there. And so I tend to try to really condense them down as much as I can. So a lot of times for members, I'll leave those longer videos out there so that you can watch those ad free. So, you don't even get ads on my YouTube subscription. Oh, because if you've got a YouTube subscription, then you're getting everything ads free anyway. So I mean, you kind of get, you're getting that with your subscription anyway. And that is something that people can do. You can just get the subscription. I don't know how much it is, but you won't see the member side of things. That's members only. It's just there's a whole nother side that's members only. The other thing I've been looking at doing is any of the higher level members. I'm thinking of starting to put their names at the end of my videos to thank them, because I'll be honest with you guys, members help keep the channel alive, right? The $2 a day I'm getting from YouTube doesn't buy me much coffee. You know, I need a couple cups a day at least. 15 a month for the other one, huh? Yeah, that's not, I guess that's not terrible. Really, $15 a month, no ads at all, is not bad at all. So yeah, Dino, I'm curious too. Did you get that mail? I mean, you're in Georgia. I'm assuming you got it down there from Georgia, but you were already running a 40, I think, right? Isn't that right? Unless I've got the wrong guy, I think you've already got a mill. I know some guys have decided not to get their newer mills, but anyway, what questions do we got? We got still got some folks out there. So if you guys have got questions for me, throw them out there. Let me hear them. And by the way, on the member side of things, that's kind of like Patreon. It's people that want to support the channel. Members get to have more dialogue, and I think that's going to help me with the channel, but also help you get to throw out some stuff. So John, John's a member, and he's actually given me some really good feedback on things that I take to heart. So if you're taking the time to do that, I'm going to listen. And so anyway, that's just one of the things I'm trying to do. But what questions do we have? We're sitting at an hour and 20 minutes. Well, according to this, an hour and 12 and a half minutes. So what questions have you got today, folks? I think I've covered everything I intended to cover anyway. So I don't know. I think I talked about the stampeding horses last time. I talked about the bear. I talked about the Taj McPrivy at the Taj McOuthouse. Wait till you see it, though. It's looking really good. I got to tell you, when that video comes out, I hope you guys watch it, because that eyesore of an outhouse has been sitting out there for a long time. Now, this is a 6 foot by 6 foot out. This is not a little outhouse. It's the Taj McOuthouse, right? Or the Taj McPrivy. But we put some live edge siding on it, and then Darcy went and stained that siding right away. And so that outhouse has had a really fast upgrade, I'm telling you. And we got more work to do out there. We just bought some more 2.5-inch Galvies. I didn't have enough out there when we were there to do any more anyway. And I've got more work planned. So we're heading back out to the cabin. I'm heading up either Wednesday or Thursday to try to get my tractor fixed and get the sawmill up there and get some more milling done. And by the way, I'm hoping to do some winter milling. So Arrowhead, I'm going to see if I can't get some milling. I don't know if I can match your winter milling, but we're going to try to get some done. But all right, what else we got, folks? If we don't have any more questions, I think we'll call it. I'll give you the going once, going twice. We got 2 minutes 40 seconds before the next ad run, so I'll hold out till then. What else? Let me see if I got. Oh, while I'm at it, so I mentioned running this rally yesterday. I don't know if any of you guys know about those. Hey, Arrowhead, good talking to you, buddy. I'll talk to you again soon. But cheers, absolutely. I don't have my cool glass today, though. But yeah, we had a good time running a rally with the 4x4 club. It was a bit crazy, and those can be kind of fun. I don't know if you've ever heard about those, but you put in things like turn left at the 100 greenback snakes. So the directions are kind of crazy. It's a lot of fun sitting around talking to the guys on all the checkpoints going, yeah, did anybody show up yet? No. We got them all lost. So anyway, folks, with that, I think with no more questions, we'll call it a night. Y'all have a great day. Tuesday, have a new video drop. As always, I do drop them at 3 o'clock in the morning. I do that for the East Coast guys and the folks overseas. I'm going to continue doing that for a while. I'm also going to continue to try to keep putting out 3 videos a week for you. So if you haven't noticed, got a lot going out. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I always try to answer the comments. And don't forget to check out the merch. If you don't have your It's Bourbon 30 glass or I Love the Smell of Sawdust in the Morning, you should check those out. They're really cool. Y'all have a great night. If I can end the stream that's not wanting to end on me. There we go. See you guys later.